All right, here's a thought, just a thought. Are tax hikes dead? Completely dead. D-E-A-D, dead. Joining me now is Grover Norquist, great friend, president of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, I know it's kind of a forlorn topic, but basically, and I'm reading from, again, my pal Dan Clifton, so I'm going to assume Manchin killed him for this year. We win the Congress, then we win, we supply-siders take the White House for 8 years. So you could have, like, no new taxes for, I don't know, 10 years or something. What do you think of that possibility?
I think it is possible. I think it is even likely.
Oh.
The challenge is, as in the movie The Princess Bride, where they talked about somebody being mostly dead, not completely dead. Yes. Taxes are mostly dead. We do have, I mean, look, the Democratic Party and taxes are like a teenage boy on a prom date. They keep asking for the same thing in different ways, and they don't stop. They just keep coming back. So you can slap their hands, you can tell them no, you can embarrass them in front of the nation, and they're back at it again as soon as they can recoup. So we could find out in September that Manchin finds some sort of tax increase acceptable. He doesn't mind corporate rate increases, he has said in the past, even though those are devastating to workers. He did, I think, put a stake in the heart of that global minimum tax,
right,
which people may not have been focused on. But Biden got together and with the European guys and said, let's have a minimum tax. Nobody takes the business tax less than 15%, so that we couldn't compete in the world with lower taxes or lower energy costs. We'll have to compete with lower wages. Why would we want to do that? Why would Biden want to do that to the American people? Let's compete on lower taxes, not lower wages.
No, it's a race to the bottom. That's what Janet Yellen says. It's a race to the bottom. You know, you can't have too low taxes. So Dan Clifton writes, investors can also bank on not seeing an increase in individual income, capital gains, dividends, and estate. I think that small business 3.8% is dead. I think the loan loss limitation is dead. And I think the domestic minimum tax on corporations. But, you know, Grover, think of it. Kyrsten Sinema didn't get enough play in this Manchin round. You know, Manchin plays Hamlet and then finally comes out on the right side, at least for another month or two. But I don't see her lunging to raise taxes either.
No, she has serious companies. She has a state that just took their state income tax to 2.5%, and the governor and the leaders in the House and Senate are planning to go to 0 in the state tax in Arizona. So she's surrounded by a state that understands a flat tax is a good idea. They have a single rate tax next year of 2.5%, and 0 is a really good flat tax. So and Manchin's got to be watching. His state Senate voted to abolish their state income tax. The House said, let's do 10% this year. So around Manchin, they're cutting taxes in West Virginia, the Republican legislature and the Republican governor. So I think they embarrassed themselves when they just kept lunging after one tax after another. With energy costs going up, remember Biden put out a plan with 11 taxes on energy? 11, just to make prices even higher. And the business tax, the 3.8% that you mentioned, that spoke to every medium-sized business in the country, because you're either going to pay it now or soon. By the way, it was not indexed for inflation. So when they said, oh, we're only going to tax really big companies, no, they aren't. It'll take very little time for them at 9% a year to move millions of Americans into that tax bracket and get them whacked by that higher tax. So they've really sort of bared their fangs to the American people. That's why I think the tax may be really, really dead for quite some time.
I think that's a great point, Grover. You know what the states are doing of these senators is very important. You're exactly right. Look at, I mean, who knows? We may not see a tax hike in our lifetime. It'd be a terrific thing. Then we have to work on tax cuts. That's another segment. Grover Norquist, Americans for Tax Reform. Can't thank you enough. Appreciate it. All right, folks, coming up here on Kudlow, after we see